So talk a little bit about what a session looks like so people can kind of wrap their logical brains
Yeah,
around
beautiful.
that look
So,
like.
of course, again, my sessions may be a little bit different than other people's. For me, it begins with heart-centered conversation, right? We have to build the
Mm,
relationship of trust in order to go to the places that could be hard,
yeah.
right? And so this could
Yeah.
look different for everybody. Some people be like, I'm curious, but I'm not really ready. So, okay, well, let's just spend time there. And so we spend time there.
Mm,
We also spend, as much as we can on creating intention. But what I will say with this is this
mm,
gives the mind a place of focus. Whether we get there or not isn't really the point, right? I think
mhm,
it helps to ground us and anchor us in moments where we feel the instability of what's coming up. And if
mhm.
we have our hearts set on, oh, I really like I've been going through this hard thing and I want to get deeper or I want to connect with myself more, beautiful. That could be a long and continuous intention that we hold together, right? When we go into the active part of breathing, whether, I have some people in person and a lot over Zoom, we're doing the whole experience laying down, hopefully in somewhere that feels really comfortable, really safe. I always think that beauty is very important in our healing. So, however, you
Mhm,
can create intentional space is important to me. It feels important to you,
mhm.
and we do a little bit of grounding. Um, and this just allows us to anchor into what feels alive in our body right now. Because we're going to go from like here, we've been working like all in this space of the mind, and we're going to drop into the body pretty quick. So we just create a little bit
Mhm.
of room for that. And then as we start to do the active breathing, it's this two-phase breath. We're breathing deeply through our belly, then our chest, and then we're exhaling. And we get into this rhythm, right? And this is, again, those first 5 to 10 minutes can feel a little bit uncomfortable. Right? This is where we might have some
Mhm.
agitation in the body, or the mind doesn't want to go there, or it's scared, or it feels panicked because for some of us, we live up there and we think that, something
Yeah.
bad's going to happen. And so, again, with like attuned awareness of like who's with can hold
Right.
you through that.
I just want to point out that you're like when we're doing it, I've got my
Yeah.
headset in. I'm lying down. My eyes are closed. You're guiding
Oh,
me
yeah.
through
It's
it,
it's a journey.
and yeah, so it's like, and you do such a good job of sort of setting up. Like it's not like you just rush
Oh
into the
no.
breath work, but it's almost like a
Yeah.
visualization. Like you're sort of guiding me into a visualization, and then you have incredible music.
Okay.
In fact, last night when I went to bed, I was like, I think I need
Oh,
that
I'm sending it to
playlist.
you.
That was Yeah, that was really good. And then the music kind of helps
Mm.
create for me. It definitely gets me into that emotional place. And then you're starting the
Mhm.
breath work, and it's a
Yeah.
mouth breathing, like you're not using your
No,
nose, which is how you get to this other state. It's not an inhale
that's
exhale through
right.
the nose
That's
and the
right. And,
mouth.
and and this is contrary to
Yeah.
some of what we will hear about healthy breathing. When we're breathing healthfully during the day, obviously we want to use predominantly our nose, right? Breathing through our mouth
Yeah.
isn't long-term a healthy move, but in these moments, it actually is, right? And James Nestor as well talks about
Yeah.
this because people question like, why would you do this if you're supposed to be breathing, through your nose? So yes, there is this way that I'm sort of accompanying you on a journey. Your body and your
Mm,
sensations and your emotions are going to guide us. And then wherever need
mm,
be, if there's assistance, then there's a hand there ready to like, catch whatever material is there.
mm,
And yeah, the music is a part of it. It's can be evocative to the emotions, allows us to drop in to something that, could feel touched, right? We have these layers
mm-hmm.
where our hearts have not been open. And so we start to breathe. Essentially, it's a heart opening experience. And we're even breathing through that
Mm,
heart center, right? If we're talking about this from a chakra place,
right.
we're, in the belly and then
Yeah.
in the heart, we're opening this up. And there's gonna be some stuff. So having things like music or connection or yeah, any supportive dialogue can sometimes just facilitate us in where we're going.
my experience is that we've done different versions of the breathwork sessions where I've set an intention because I love intentions. And then there's been a few where I'm like, I don't know, let's just breathe today. And then those always shock me because like memories come up that the brain had hidden from me. And there's been some pretty intense ones that was like, whoa, wow, I forgot about that. And then when it comes to the surface, it feels like there's wow, that happened at that age. And that must be why I now behave this way. Like it creates like an anchor back into the past to understand the behaviors and the way your mind is working in the present. And I'm not sure. I mean, I've done lots of psychedelic journeys and I haven't found it always to be that body experience. Whereas this feels like, again, the body's like, hey, I got a memory for you. I feel like you should maybe work this one out. Let's bring this one up. And it doesn't feel scary to me. I mean, partly because you're so loving, but also it feels like a release. It feels like, oh, wow, that was in my nervous system. That was there causing the depression and the anxiety and the lack of focus. Wow, well, let's unpack that and like get that out. And so I just want to say that because I don't know another vehicle that allows you to go into the storage bank of the body in that way. And I think if you're hearing this, it sounds scary, but it doesn't feel scary for me. I don't know if the other clients you work with, if they sort of have maybe over time, as they trust you more and more, they have that same sort of experience. But I know a lot of people have said to me, like, breathwork sounds scary. And I'm like, really? It sounds like freedom.
Me too. It sounds like freedom. And also sometimes moving towards scary things is how we get more free. So it's again, like goes back to that dissolving, the dissolution of the caterpillar. It's like letting go can be just really terrifying. The beautiful thing is the risks are kind of minimal, especially if held appropriately.
Yes.
That we can practice what's scary in a safe way. Right.
Yes.
And we can pump the brakes, or we can also press on the gasoline. Right. And we have those choices with breath work that, again, I think make it a little bit unique to this process. Whereas, going and doing ayahuasca for everybody might not, be the right thing. Oh, I can practice what that would be like to sense into myself a little bit more. And if it feels too much, okay, I can pump the brakes. I can also process why that is. I can then pump the gas again and go towards it. It's scary and freedom and both belong.
Yeah. And what I've noticed is that, in those moments that those really vulnerable thoughts come up, my brain does have a moment where like, am I going to speak this? And I've said this to you before, like, I'm not sure I'm going to say this. No, I'm going to say it. And then I say it, and then it just feels like relief. So, for people listening, I also want to say that like the brake and the gas pedal is controlled by the breath work. You can decide to slow down or speed up, and then you can enhance the experience or you can slow the experience down. And then when the memory comes up or whatever shows up for you, you also have the choice at that moment if you're going to actually verbalize it or not.
Absolutely. You remain in choice, which again, with other systems, you might not have that. So I've had people that have had sort of what I seem to be big experiences, and they just want to hold that for themselves. And we respect that and honor that. And I give you instructions of what to walk away with, and let's come back next time. So it can still be on your terms, right? I think because so much of the culture is in this overshare, and it's like beautiful. Like we want some vulnerability, but it's also like we don't have to share everything. You get to have choice in this. That gets to be totally yours. And if you're getting stuck in something, cool. Let's talk about it. Let's see what's there.